This week, on Monday, November 24th, Mercury retrograde in intense, powerful Scorpio will conjunct Venus. This isn't your everyday conjunction, though, and it isn't your everyday conversation. This conjunction suggests that we're learning new things now, important things. This could be an internal process and information, new information could be coming to light in our external experiences in the world. In one way or another, we might learn something this week that we didn't know before. So I'm excited to talk about this with you today. We're doing a little bit of a different report today. Good morning, Bebo. So nice to see you. I'm just doing a short week report for Monday and Tuesday because that really works out well astrologically and with the schedule of a long weekend coming up for people. I really think that Monday and Tuesday have sort of a little bit of a unique signature. So I thought that handling them separately makes sense. However, we have to put this couple of days in context. It really can't stand alone. We have to talk about sort of what's coming before and after it in a way too. So we have Venus here in Scorpio and we have Mercury in Scorpio. Mercury is retrograde. A lot of charts, a lot of the programs that we use, this one included, write the numbers in red when a planet is retrograde. You will also sometimes see that symbol for retrograde. I'll draw it here really quickly. But you see these red numbers quite a lot too. Let me just get a quick little doodle on the chart. So yeah, you'll see a symbol sort of like that sometimes, which means that a planet is retrograde. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit easier to see. It actually looks exactly like the symbol for prescription, right? It's the same glyph. Learning the glyphs in astrology is really interesting. Okay. So anyway, we have Mercury retrograde and Venus direct, and they're moving into a conjunction. A conjunction is different than any other aspect that two planets can make to one another. It's its own separate thing. It's not two different planets having a conversation with each other. That's a square, that's a trine. I mean, it is them having a conversation, but it's not two planets interacting. It's planets merging into one piece of energy. It's them coming together in some way. And so it's different than any of the other ways that two planets can connect. And it's very significant. And this one is just a little interesting because not only do we have Venus and Mercury conjunct, but we're talking about Scorpio, which is sort of an intense sign anyway. You know, the sun has moved on here into Sagittarius, but I don't think that we're fully out of that water sign energy yet. Certainly not with these grand water trines that we're coming in and out of as well. But okay, let me sort of take this a piece at a time. Sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, so Mercury is sort of backing into Venus here. I feel like they're sort of running into each other when planets conjunct in this way. More often, planets sort of come up to each other, you know, and pass one another along the way. This way, they're bumping into each other when one planet is retrograde and the other is direct. And in the case of these two planets, especially, it sort of feels like that makes the potential of their interaction potentially a little more uncomfortable or intense in some way or some surprising in some way. It could also just feel a little bit more hurried. It's like this information is coming in almost like I have an image of sort of and you know, I always like to put these planets, I like to personify them and then I like to put them in actual houses, right? So instead of just thinking of this as a Scorpio house, let's picture an actual house that is sort of run by Scorpio. It is in the character of Scorpio, and Mercury and Venus are there together. And I sort of have this image of them like running into each other in the hallway, maybe literally, right? One is about to leave, one is about to come back. They're both coming in and out of these grand water trines that happen at the threshold. So they both have a lot going on. And so this information could come in that kind of way, like abruptly, surprisingly, that sort of running into it energy. And we could just feel very busy, very hurried, have a lot going on, I think, these couple of days as well, like have that sort of rushed energy. But I really do think it's so significant that Mercury has just come out of this grand water trine pattern. It's like I don't even have to mark it on the chart, really, right? It's so prominent there. And I hope that if you have been following these videos or other astrology videos for a while, you're starting to really recognize some stuff. I bet you're coming on here and you're seeing this chart and you're going, oh, there's that grand water trine. And it involves Jupiter and Saturn. Okay. And so Jupiter and Saturn are around the 25-degree point, holding pretty firm there, thanks to retrogrades and directs and things of this nature. And the Scorpio planets are coming in and out of a configuration with them. So Mercury just went through this conversation. Then we have the conjunction with Venus this week. And then at the end of the week, what we're going to be talking about later is Venus moving through this configuration, right? So they're sort of having this intensity. It makes all of this feel more significant, right? Mercury just coming out of that grand water trine and Venus just about to go in. It feels significant. Like this information that they're passing to each other in the hallway. It's not just that they're running into each other, they're passing information. They're going, oh, I'm glad I ran into you. I have to tell you, they're sharing some sort of important information as they're coming. Venus is leaving Scorpio, but before she does, she's going to come into this grand water trine, and Mercury is now backing into Scorpio retrograde, just having come into that pattern. So they're running into each other, sharing something important. We are in a process right now of some kind with these grand water trines and just with Scorpio season in general. And like I said, we do have the sun in Sag now. So that's sort of it's a good thing. It lightens and it brightens the mood. It adds some optimism and some encouraging energy to the mix. Like we can sort of feel like it'll all be okay somehow. And I think that the grand water trine gives us that feeling as well. It's providing a lot of support, that grand water trine. We have emotional strength right now, emotional strength and ability. And I think it actually might be because we have this emotional strength and ability that we are moving something forward. And I think we're getting some information this week that's relevant to that. So it might be really interesting to think about what you're learning right now. What are you learning? What are you working on? What are you figuring out? And it might not feel like it's something you've been learning until we get to midweek, until we're on the other side of this. It might not feel like, well, I haven't really been learning anything. I've been having a lot of feelings. I've been tired or I've been dreaming or I've been a lot of things, but I can't really say that I've been learning something. But that's because it's this week that this conversation here happens and that some sort of piece of information more comes in because it's Mercury there. We're getting information. Like I said, it could just be coming from within. It could be an internal realization, or it could be that you actually learn something actually sort of comes out, you learn some critical piece of information. I feel like it's probably relational. This is probably about relationships. I'm going not just by Venus there, but by the grand water trine that we've been moving in and out of. That has been coming really in waves. It's like we have a grand water trine and then it fades and we kind of process, and then we have another one and it fades and we process. It's actually been a really cool process. Sorry to use the same word so many times, but yeah, um, it's probably relational, but it could be financial as well. We're talking about Venus. It could be about aesthetics in some way, appearance and creativity in some kind of way. But again, I think that grand water trine is really giving us the strength that we need to handle it. So I'm going to take a look here at the chat before I go. I love spending just a couple of minutes in the chat. If you're watching this later, feel free to leave a question in the comments, and I hopefully will get to them. I am starting to lose track of my comments just a little bit and not always be able to get to everybody, but I generally try to stay tuned in with a video for at least 24 hours after. Um, I'm going to attach a couple videos at the end here that are also relevant to the current astrology. If you enjoyed this video, you would probably like those too. And I also just wanted to very much give such a sincere thank you to my new members, Rita, Brittany, and Patricia. Thank you, Rita, Brittany, and Patricia. I'm so happy to have you. And yeah, let me go ahead and take a minute and just look through this chat. Yes, exactly. A different schedule because of Thanksgiving. So I'll be back on Wednesday and then on Monday. So just instead of doing it on Friday, I thought let's sort of think of it as a short week. This is a little bit of a short week report. And then on Wednesday, we'll do a long weekend report. So I'll be back Wednesday for that. And then on the following Monday, back to normal schedule. I am slowly releasing the December, January horoscopes. I do think that perhaps Pisces and maybe Aquarius too might not come out until very early December, but I'm slowly releasing those. They're best watched by your rising sign. And check out November. This is the energy that we're in right now. And it's really helpful to, not just look forward, but look at what's happening in the current astrology and look back a little bit too. I love the term post-diction, right? That with astrology, we can do a little bit of prediction, which I'm not really, as most of you know who've been here, I'm not really a huge fan of predictions anyway. I like using astrology as sort of a tool for introspection and not really looking at as like what is going to happen, but more just helping us to kind of slow down and go inward and connect. um, but post-diction is when you look at the astrology of what's already happened. And you can sort of use that to go within and make meaning and think things over. And it's really interesting because you know what happened. And then when you see the astrology of it, it can sort of help you to understand the significance of it or the way it fits into another story. So I highly recommend watching, the November videos as well. And they will all be out, by the 4th or 5th anyway. It wouldn't even be that late, probably by the 2nd or 3rd of December for December and January together. Okay, I love the way people are learning astrology. Yes, sometimes people don't like astrology. That's okay. They should move on to another channel, which is fine. I don't think that anything that we're doing here conflicts with religion in any way. We can hold both things at the same time, but it doesn't seem that Alex feels that way, which which is okay. I think he's moved on now, Crystal. So we'll let him have been. I think that I am going to run too, actually. If there aren't any other questions, I appreciate you all being here so much. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a wonderful short week. We will talk about Venus moving through this grand trine um, really soon on Wednesday when I'm come back on Wednesday. It's a pretty great iteration of the Grand Water Trine. I was gonna say it's my favorite, but I really liked the Sun. But no, I think the Venus is my favorite. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday. And I hope you have a wonderful short week. I hope it is a short week for you, or maybe that you are already off, or that you just have some downtime wherever you are, because I know not everyone who watches is from the United States, which is really, really cool too. I appreciate you all being here very much. Thanks. Have a great short week.